Your engine is slowly choking to death right now, and you have no idea it's happening. Carbon deposits are building up inside your intake valves, combustion chambers, and piston tops with every single mile you drive. And by the time you notice the symptoms, rough idle, misfires, lost power, the damage has already been accumulating for years. I've pulled intake manifolds off engines with 60,000 miles and found carbon deposits so thick the intake valves could barely open. And the owners thought their engines were running fine because it happened so gradually, they never noticed the power disappearing. What carbon buildup actually does to your engine's internals would genuinely shock you. And the cleaning solutions most drivers try are often making things worse rather than better. Drop a comment right now telling me what engine you're running and how many miles it has, because I want to know how many of you are already experiencing carbon buildup symptoms without connecting them to the real cause. Hit that subscribe button on Car Care Xpert and turn on notifications, because I share critical engine knowledge like this every week that saves you from expensive repairs most drivers never see coming. Now let me show you exactly what carbon buildup does inside your engine and why ignoring it turns a $100 cleaning into a $1,000 repair. What carbon buildup actually is. Before you can understand why carbon buildup is so destructive, you need to understand what it actually is and why modern engines are more vulnerable than anything built before them. Carbon deposits form from incomplete combustion. Every time your engine fires, fuel and oil residue that doesn't burn completely leaves behind carbonaceous deposits that stick to hot metal surfaces. In older port-injected engines, fuel spraying directly onto intake valves washed these deposits away continuously, keeping valves clean naturally. Modern direct injection engines spray fuel directly into the combustion chamber, bypassing intake valves entirely, meaning intake valves never get washed by fuel and deposits accumulate unchecked with every single combustion cycle. Oil vapor from the crankcase ventilation system coats the back of intake valves constantly, and without fuel washing to remove it, that oil vapor bakes onto the valve surface at temperatures exceeding 300 degrees and forms hard carbon deposits that bond to the metal like concrete. These deposits restrict airflow into the cylinder, prevent intake valves from sealing completely, disrupt the precise fuel-air mixture your engine needs for efficient combustion, and create hotspots that cause pre-ignition and detonation that destroys pistons. The deposits don't form overnight. They accumulate gradually over tens of thousands of miles, stealing power and efficiency so slowly you adapt to the degraded performance without realizing how much your engine has lost. The direct injection problem nobody told you about. The shift to direct injection engines has created a carbon buildup epidemic affecting millions of vehicles, and manufacturers knew this problem was coming when they designed these engines. Direct injection provides better fuel economy and power, but the trade-off is removing the natural valve cleaning that port injection provided for decades. Every major manufacturer selling direct injection engines, Ford EcoBoost, GM's Ecotec and LT1, Toyota's D4S, Volkswagen's C, BMW's N Series, has documented carbon buildup problems that cause real performance degradation. I've inspected direct injection engines from multiple manufacturers at 50,000 to 80,000 miles and found carbon deposits measuring 3 to 4 millimeters thick, coating the entire back surface of intake valves. At 3 millimeters of deposit thickness, airflow into the cylinder is restricted by 15 to 20%, meaning your engine is breathing through a partially clogged valve with every intake stroke. The restriction varies by cylinder because deposits accumulate unevenly, creating cylinder-to-cylinder airflow imbalances that cause rough idle, misfires, and vibration. What frustrates me most is that manufacturers know this problem exists, but don't include intake valve cleaning in their maintenance schedules. They're waiting for symptoms to develop rather than preventing them from forming. Some manufacturers don't even acknowledge the problem until deposits are severe enough to cause warranty claims. What carbon buildup does to performance. The performance impact of severe carbon buildup is more significant than most drivers realize, and the gradual progression is what makes it so insidious. A direct injection engine with 3 millimeters of carbon deposits on intake valves loses 15 to 20% of its designed airflow capacity, the equivalent of driving with a partially blocked air filter permanently installed. I've dyno tested vehicles before and after intake cleaning and measured power losses of 25 to 40 horsepower, purely from carbon deposits restricting airflow. That's horsepower you paid for when you bought the vehicle that has been stolen gradually over years of normal driving. The fuel economy impact is equally significant. Restricted airflow forces your engine control unit to compensate by adjusting fueling and timing, creating inefficient combustion that wastes fuel. I've documented fuel economy improvements of 2 to 4 miles per gallon after professional intake cleaning, which translates to hundreds of dollars saved annually at current fuel prices. The rough idle and misfires that develop from severe deposits aren't just annoying. Unburned fuel washing past deposits and into the oil accelerates oil degradation and bearing wear. Carbon deposits in combustion chambers raise the effective compression ratio, increasing the tendency for pre-ignition and knock-in engines designed for regular octane. Pre-ignition damage to pistons is catastrophic and irreversible, turning a preventable maintenance item into an engine replacement scenario. The symptoms you're probably already ignoring. Carbon buildup announces itself through symptoms so gradual that most drivers dismiss them individually without connecting them to the underlying cause. The first symptom is typically a rough idle that develops so slowly you don't notice until someone else comments on it. Your engine idles unevenly because carbon deposits have created airflow imbalances between cylinders, some cylinders breathing slightly better than others. Cold start misfires are another early indicator. Cold carbon deposits are harder and more restrictive than hot ones, and engines with significant buildup misfire for the first 30 seconds after startup until deposits heat and expand slightly. Hesitation during light throttle acceleration, that brief stumble before the engine picks up, is classic carbon deposit behavior from restricted airflow at low engine speeds. If your scan tool shows lean fuel trim corrections or multiple misfire codes across cylinders with no apparent cause, carbon deposits should be your first suspect rather than injectors or ignition components. I've diagnosed hundreds of vehicles for rough idle, poor fuel economy, and power loss that mechanics trace to injectors or spark plugs when the actual cause was carbon deposits. These misdiagnoses waste money on parts that don't fix the underlying problem and leave the deposits continuing to worsen. The right way to remove carbon deposits. Removing carbon deposits correctly requires understanding that different buildup locations require completely different cleaning methods. The only effective method for cleaning intake valve carbon deposits on direct injection engines is walnut shell blasting, a procedure where technicians remove the intake manifold and blast walnut shell media through the intake ports using compressed air. Walnut shells are hard enough to abrade carbon deposits from valve surfaces, but soft enough not to damage aluminum valve seats or port walls. I've performed walnut blasting on severely deposited engines and removed carbon chunks the size of golf ball halves from individual intake ports. The results are immediately noticeable: smooth idle, eliminated misfires, restored throttle response. Walnut blasting costs $300 to $600 depending on the engine configuration, and most engines benefit from the procedure at 50 to 60,000 mile intervals for direct injection applications. Do not use fuel additives claiming to clean intake valve deposits. They work in port injection systems, but cannot reach intake valves in direct injection engines. Chemical carbon cleaners sprayed into the throttle body provide minimal benefit because the turbulent airflow doesn't carry the chemical effectively to valve surfaces. The only legitimate cleaning methods for direct injection intake valve deposits are walnut blasting or hand cleaning with a bore brush and chemical solvent after manifold removal. Combustion chamber deposits can be addressed through top-tier fuel use and periodic P-based fuel system cleaners like Techron that do reach combustion chambers through the direct injectors. Preventing carbon buildup from forming. Prevention is significantly cheaper than cleaning, and several strategies effectively slow carbon deposit formation in direct injection engines. The most important preventive measure is using top-tier certified gasoline with robust detergent packages. Top-tier fuel contains higher concentrations of deposit control additives that reduce combustion chamber deposits and help keep injectors clean, slowing deposit formation rates. Using quality synthetic oil and maintaining strict oil change intervals prevents excess oil vapor from entering the intake stream. Degraded oil with high vapor pressure contributes significantly to intake valve deposits. Some manufacturers offer optional port injection combined with direct injection, Toyota's D4S system, and others. And these dual injection systems specifically solve the carbon buildup problem by periodically washing intake valves with port injector fuel. If your vehicle has both injection systems, ensure both are functioning correctly. Installing an oil catch can in the crankcase ventilation system captures oil vapor before it reaches the intake, dramatically reducing the primary source of deposit-forming material. Quality catch cans with coalescing filters cost $60 to $150 and are one of the most cost-effective modifications for any direct injection engine. After 15 years of pulling apart engines destroyed by carbon buildup that should never have progressed that far, I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is one of the most preventable and most ignored threats to modern engine longevity. Carbon deposits steal your power gradually, destroy your fuel economy silently, and eventually cause misfire and pre-ignition damage that turns a $300 cleaning into a $3,000 repair. Using top-tier fuel, maintaining strict oil change intervals, installing a catch can, and scheduling walnut blasting at 50,000-mile intervals will keep your direct injection engine performing like new, while drivers who ignore this maintenance are already losing power and efficiency they paid for when they bought their vehicles. If this video just convinced you to take carbon buildup seriously before it destroys your engine's performance, smash that like button and share it with every direct injection engine owner you know. Drop a comment telling me your mileage and whether you've ever had an intake cleaning done.